คุณผู้ชมคะท่ามกลางความเปลี่ยนแปลงสภาพภูมิอากาศและสภาพอากาศสุดขั้วมีคำเตือนที่ชัดมากขึ้นค่ะว่าไทยนั้นจะต้องเผชิญกับปัญหาภัยแล้งแต่ในบางครั้งในพื้นที่นั้นต้องประสบปัญหาน้ำท่วมการบริหารจัดการน้ำจึงต้องเตรียมการล่วงหน้าแบบบูรณาการค่ะวันนี้คุณณัฐฐา โกมลวาทินได้พูดคุยกับผู้อำนวยการใหญ่ด้านทรัพยากรน้ำของธนาคารโลกถึงแนวทางเสริมสร้างความมั่นคงด้านน้ำในประเทศไทย
In the water practice, which I'm heading at the World Bank and the Thai government have very strong partnership on water security, which essentially involves for Thailand on a priority basis to support Thai government on flood preparedness and prevention, drought preparedness and prevention. And this of course involves working for different parts of the country on both flood and drought related hazards. We've been working with the government for some time. There was a very important workshop today where the Thai experts presented their plans for lower Chao Phraya River Basin flood risk mitigation. And the World Bank experts who've been working on China, Vietnam, Indonesia, India, Senegal, Kenya, different Latin American countries, they shared their experiences from other countries in the world, how those countries have worked on flood mitigation and drought mitigation programs.
Thailand is prone to flood and droughts, and we are dealing with extreme weather. So what's your suggestion to Thailand in light of climate change?
First thing, it is very important for us to fully integrate climate adaptation into our water resource management strategy and programs, because the climate change is changing the hydrological cycle, which means rainfall is unpredictable. You really do not know when, how much it's going to rain and when. And therefore, you need a very strong water resource management program that fully integrates climate information. This also means that the governments need to invest more in water storage, because when it rains for a few days and then you have a long dry spell. So the most effective flood and drought mitigation strategy is to store more water. And I'm very happy that the Thailand plans that the Thai experts have put together essentially confirms to the international best practice in storing more water. The second, that in the lower reaches, particularly in the lower Chao Phraya River Basin, where you have essentially the problem of finding channels for evacuating excess floods, especially when it rains heavily, it is very important that you have a comprehensive plan for the evacuation of the excess water.
What can you share with us in terms of having resilience in terms of water management? Because it seems Thailand is facing water deficit situation, even though we have enough infrastructure to keep water.
So Thailand has both excess water and water deficit in different parts of the country. And one important experience that was shared today at the workshop by the World Bank experts to deal with both flood and drought as part of one integrated water resource management problem. Because you can essentially convert excess water, which is the flood situation, into a storage strategy to respond to areas where you have drought situation. And I think it's an important message, again, going back to the point I was making before, is to invest more in water storage. The second is that the drought is a silent disaster. Droughts do not happen overnight. You have adequate early warning systems before a drought really happens. And this is where I think working very closely with the Hydrometeorological Agency, agriculture departments, local governments, and of course the water resource management, interagency coordination is extremely important so that you don't wait for a drought to happen. You can anticipate and you can act. What we call early warning, early action is the way to respond to droughts. And I believe Thailand is doing quite well.
How can you draw experience from other countries in terms of dealing with water management, because you are responsible for the whole region? Do you have any good example from other countries for Thailand that we can learn from?
First of all, Thailand has really done well, and we commend what Thailand has done and the plans they have put forward. Many plans we discussed today. Of the 9 plans for the lower Chao Phraya River Basin, I think it's an excellent plan they have put together. It is important for government to really mobilize financing and implement these plans, because plan is only as good as it is implemented. So I would urge the Thai authorities to prioritize implementation of these plans, and that itself will be a good practice. But today in the workshop, we discussed experiences from China, from Colombia, from Argentina, from India. So there are many countries where a more sustained long-term planning and investing in integrated water resource management has really helped make the countries more water secure. And remember, for any country's prosperity depends on how you manage water resources. In countries we are seeing globally, if you don't manage water resources well, investors don't want to come. Investors look at countries' water resource management policies as one of the important indicators these days, because remember, there is no industry without water. There's no economy without water. So naturally, the industry is looking for assured, reliable water resources to be able to go and invest in a country. So it's very important, and I'm very happy that Thailand has made water as a priority, and the new government is putting a lot of emphasis on water. This is what I gathered in my meeting with the Deputy Prime Minister, and I commended him for this government's focus on water, and we also assured him the World Bank will be here with them, working step by step to really make water security a reality for this country.